Kentucky State University community is mourning the loss of Dejon Fox, a young student whose life was tragically cut short in a shooting incident on campus. The news of his death has deeply affected fellow students, faculty, and family members, drawing attention to the devastating impact of violence and the preciousness of every life. A student and a life with potential. Dejon was known as a student at Kentucky State University, actively engaged in his academic environment. While details about his personal background and interests are still emerging, those who knew him describe him as someone working toward his future, invested in his education, and his place within the university community. As a young person pursuing higher education, Dejon was part of a generation striving to build opportunity, achieve personal and professional goals, and make meaningful contributions to the world. His sudden death has abruptly halted those aspirations, leaving behind unanswered potential and deep sadness among his peers and loved ones. The incident on campus, the fatal incident, occurred on the university campus, a place normally associated with learning, growth, and community, transforming a familiar space into one marked by shock and grief. Dejon was shot, sustaining injuries that proved fatal. The exact circumstances surrounding the shooting remain under investigation, and officials continue to work to understand the events that led to this tragedy. The presence of violence on a college campus is especially jarring, as students and staff alike are still processing the reality that a life was taken in a place meant for safety, education, and development. Campus reaction and response in the aftermath of the shooting. Kentucky State University expressed profound sorrow over Dejon's death. The community has come together in mourning, with students and faculty offering condolences and supporting one another during a time of deep emotional strain. Counseling services and support resources have been made available to help individuals cope with the emotional impact of the loss, reinforcing the university's efforts to prioritize the well-being of its community during this difficult period. Friends of Dejon have shared memories and reflections, emphasizing the impact he had on their lives. Many describe him as a presence they respected, someone who had a place among his peers and in the broader campus environment. The sense of loss is palpable, not only for the life that was taken, but for the experiences and milestones Dejon will not now have the chance to reach. Impact on family and loved ones while the community mourns. Dejon's family is now faced with the profound responsibility of grieving a young life lost far too soon. The pain of losing someone at such a pivotal stage of life is immeasurable, and those closest to Dejon are navigating the shock and sorrow that accompany such a sudden and violent event. Family members, friends, and classmates are united in remembrance, reflecting on the moments they shared with him, the conversations, and the ordinary experiences that now hold extraordinary weight in memory. Moving forward amid grief as investigations continue, the university community continues to grieve and support one another. Dejon's death serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the lingering impact of violence on individuals and communities alike. Conversations about campus safety, emotional well-being, and the supports that students need are intensified in the wake of the tragedy. The responses from students and staff reflect a desire for healing, understanding, and meaningful steps to foster a campus environment where every member feels safe and valued. Honoring a life taken too soon. Dejon's story is not defined solely by the circumstances of his death, but by the presence he had in the lives of those around him, his classmates, friends, teachers, and family. Each of these individuals carries forward aspects of who he was, even as they wrestle with the loss. Those who knew Dejon remember him as a young person with life ahead of him, with relationships that mattered, and with a place within the broader community that will not be forgotten. While nothing can undo the pain of his passing, remembering Dejon means acknowledging the fullness of his life, the relationships he built, the goals he pursued, and the impact he made in the time he had. Final reflection today, the Kentucky State University community pauses to remember Dejon Fox, a student whose life was tragically taken on campus. As friends, family, and peers reflect on his life and the loss they share, they also renew their commitment to cherishing one another and upholding values of safety, respect, and care. In honoring Dejon's memory, the community holds tight to the importance of each individual life and the hope that, even in grief, there can be healing, compassion, and unity in the face of tragedy. Dejon may no longer walk among us, but his presence, in memory and in impact, remains.